The strange signal came in the middle of the night shift. Officer Min was dozing at her station when the alert sounded. The Mercy, a United Earth Space Corps medical vessel, was 3 weeks into a routine patrol of the outer colonies. "Captain." "Park," Min called through the ship's comm. "You need to see this." Captain Hannah Park had been with the Corps for 15 years. She had seen much during her time in space, but nothing like this signal. It wasn't human. It wasn't from any known alien race either. "Where is it coming from?" she asked, her dark eyes fixed on the screen. "The Hera sector," said Min. "About 2 days from here at top speed." The Hera sector was empty space. At least, it was supposed to be. "Wake up the senior crew," Park ordered. "Meeting in 10 minutes. In the meeting room, the faces looked tired but alert. Chief Engineer Tae Kim spoke first. The signal pattern suggests a distress call. It repeats every 90 seconds. Science Officer Jun Kang shook his head. "Captain, we should report this to command. Protocol is clear." Park knew he was right. Space Corps protocol said any unknown signal should be reported. They should wait for orders, but that could take days. If it really was a distress call, if someone needs help, they might not have days, Park said quietly. "How long to reach the signal source, Navigator?" 43 hours at emergency speed." "Captain," Park took a deep breath. Breaking protocol could end her career. Following it might mean death she could have prevented. Set course for the signal. Maximum speed. 2 days later, the Mercy dropped out of FTL Drive near the signal source. The view screen showed only empty space at first. Then Kim adjusted the sensors. "There," he said. "Visual coming through now." The image shocked everyone on the bridge. A massive ship, unlike anything they had ever seen, floated in space. Its design was alien, all curves where human ships had angles. Strange lights pulsed weakly along its hull. "It's huge," whispered Navigator Seo. "At least 3 times our size." "Life signs?" Park asked. Officer June nodded. "Yes, many. But weird. Readings, not like anything in our database." Park stood up. "Prepare a medical team. I'll lead the first contact party." Security Chief Lee stepped forward. "Captain, that's not safe. Let me go instead." "No," Park said firmly. "This is first contact with an unknown species. I need to be there." The boarding party consisted of Park, Lee, Kim, and Dr. Yu with 2 medics. They wore their standard spacesuits as they approached in the shuttle. The alien ship's hull had strange markings, symbols no human had ever seen before. They found what looked like an airlock and, after some work, managed to open it. Inside, the air was breathable, but smelled strange, like cinnamon and metal. The gravity was slightly lighter than Earth's. The corridors curved in odd ways that made the humans feel dizzy. "Captain," Kim whispered, pointing ahead. "Movement." A figure appeared in the corridor. It walked on 2 legs, but was clearly not human. Its skin was pale blue. It had 4 arms and a head with 3 large eyes that blinked sideways. It made sounds, high chirps and clicks. Dr. Yu stepped forward slowly, hands open to show she carried no weapons. "We come in peace," she said, though she knew the alien couldn't understand. The alien looked at them, then made urgent gestures. It seemed frightened, not of the humans, but of something else. More aliens appeared. Some were injured. One was being carried. They made the same urgent sounds and gestures. "They want us to follow," said Park. "Dr. Yu, look at the injured ones. Kim, see if you can understand their ship systems." As they moved deeper into the ship, they saw terrible damage. Walls were melted in some places. Bodies of aliens lay in corridors. Dr. Yu examined the injured alien. "Their biology is completely different from ours, but this is clearly a weapon. Wound. These beings were attacked." Park looked at her crew, then at the aliens who watched them with desperate hope in their strange eyes. "They're refugees," she said. "They're running from something." An explosion rocked the ship. The aliens made high-pitched sounds of fear. Kim checked his scanner. "Captain, their engine is failing. This ship won't last much longer." Park made her decision instantly. "We're taking them with us. Tell the Mercy to prepare for refugees, as many as we can fit." As they rushed to evacuate the aliens to their shuttle, Park saw one alien point to a screen on the wall. It showed another ship, far away but moving toward them. Its design was all sharp angles and weapons. The alien made a sound that needed no translation. It was pure fear. Whatever had attacked these beings was coming back to finish the job. Kim had never worked this fast in his life. The alien ship was falling apart around them. Sparks flew from damaged panels. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "We have 30 minutes, maybe less," Kim told Captain Park as they rushed back to the shuttle. "Their main power system is failing." Park nodded, her face grim. "We need to get everyone off this ship." The problem was clear. The alien vessel was massive and held hundreds of survivors. The Mercy's shuttle could only carry 20 at a time. At that rate, most would die when the ship exploded. "We need a direct connection between ships," Kim said. "A tunnel to walk through." "But the docking systems are completely different," Park replied. Kim smiled slightly. "Then I'll make them fit." Back on the Mercy, Kim gathered his engineering team. He showed them images of the alien ship's docking port. "We have standard connection rings designed for Earth ships. We need to make them work with this," he explained, pointing to the oval-shaped alien port. Engineer Min looked worried. "That's impossible. The shapes don't match at all." "Nothing is impossible," Kim said firmly. "Get me the spare parts from Cargo Bay 3. We're building an adapter." While Kim's team worked, Security Officer Lee led a team back to the alien ship. His job was to help organize the evacuation, but he was also trained to gather intelligence. The aliens seemed desperate to communicate something. One of them, taller than the others with darker blue skin, kept making the same gesture, pointing to a star map and then making a cutting motion across its throat. "They're trying to warn us about something," Lee told Dr. Yu, who was treating injured aliens nearby. "I think they're scared we'll leave them," Yu said. Lee shook his head. "No, it's more than that." He followed the tall alien to another room. Inside was what looked like a command center. The alien activated a screen showing another ship, black and sharp-edged like a knife. Lee felt cold inside. Even without understanding the alien language, the fear was clear in their three eyes. The other ship wasn't just an enemy. It was something the aliens were terrified of. The alien pointed to markings on the wall. Lee took pictures with his scanner. Then the alien showed him something that made Lee gasp. A recording of the attack on their ship, beams of energy cutting through their defenses like they weren't there. "Captain," Lee called on his comm, "you need to see this." Meanwhile, Kim and his team were performing a miracle. Using parts never designed to work together, they built a flexible tube that could connect the Mercy to the alien ship. "It's not pretty," Kim told Park, "but it should hold long enough." The tube looked strange. Part standard metal, part emergency seals, with odd angles where it changed shape from the round human port to the oval alien one. "Will it be safe?" Park asked. Kim hesitated. "Safe enough. I'll go first to test it." 20 minutes later, the connection was complete. Kim walked through the tube, magnetic boots keeping him attached as the two ships moved slightly with the currents of space. When he reached the alien ship, he waved back at the Mercy. "Connection is stable. Start sending people through." The evacuation began. Aliens moved through the tube in a steady stream, guided by human crew members, young aliens, old aliens, injured aliens, all moving as quickly as they could. On the bridge of the Mercy, Officer Min monitored the alien ship's failing systems. "Captain, their power core is becoming unstable. 15 minutes before critical failure." Park watched the evacuation on the monitor. "How many are still over there?" "At least 100, Min replied. "We won't make it at this rate." Park made a quick decision. "Open all available space on the ship. Clear the cargo bays, the gym, everywhere. We need to move faster." Lee returned to the Mercy with the tall alien. He showed Park what he'd found. "Captain, these markings match stories I've heard. Old space legends about a species that hunts others. The Harvesters." "Legends?" Park asked. "Stories from deep space. Travelers. A race that destroys other civilizations, takes their resources. No one has confirmed they exist." The tall alien seemed to understand. It made a sound like Harva and pointed to the images of the black ship. "I think they're real," Lee said quietly. "And they're coming here." The ship shook suddenly. Kim's voice came through the comm. "The alien ship is breaking up faster than expected. We need more time." Park looked at her bridge crew. then at the aliens already on board, scared, watching her with hope in their strange eyes. "We don't leave anyone behind," she said firmly, "even if we have to tear this ship apart to make room." The Mercy flew through space, engines pushing harder than they were designed for. The ship was built to carry a crew of 50. Now it held over 400 beings. Captain Park stood on the bridge, looking at the star map. The nearest human outpost was Colony Station 7, 4 days away at top speed. If they could reach it, they would have protection and help for the refugees. "Status report," Park said, turning to her crew. Officer Min looked tired but focused. "Engines at 110% capacity. We can maintain this speed for about 60 hours before risking burnout." "And our guests?" Park asked. Dr. Yu answered from the medical bay through the comm. "We've treated the most serious injuries. They're peaceful and trying. To help us understand them, the tall one, we're calling him Blue, seems to be their leader." Park nodded. The aliens had been remarkably calm despite their situation. They slept in shifts on the floors of cargo bays and shared their food supplies with the humans. Some had even learned a few simple human words. "What's our tracking status?" Park asked. Security Officer Lee checked his screens. "No sign of pursuit yet, but we're leaving an ion trail that's easy to follow." Park was about to reply when alarms blared. The main screen showed 3 fast-moving objects behind them. "Ships detected!" Min shouted. "Coming in fast!" The objects grew larger on the screen. They were black, sharp-edged vessels that looked like hunting knives cutting through space. "The harvesters," Lee said quietly. Blue had entered the bridge with their makeshift communication device. When he saw the screen, he made a high-pitched sound of fear that needed no translation. "They're faster than us," Min reported. "They'll catch us in 4 hours." Park looked around at her crew and the frightened alien. "Then we fight." The crew stared at her in shock. "Captain," Engineer Kim said carefully, "we're a medical ship. We have minimal weapons and shields designed for meteor protection, not combat." "And they're in warships," Lee added. Park smiled slightly. "Exactly. We're a medical ship, and that gives us advantages they won't expect." She called a meeting of her senior officers and Blue. Using diagrams and simple gestures, she outlined her plan. "Medical ships carry equipment no one expects to be dangerous," she explained. "Kim, how quickly can you modify our medical scanner?" "Hooray!" Kim thought for a moment. "The deep tissue scanners use focused radiation. If we remove the safety protocols and increase power, they could potentially disrupt ship systems at close range." "Do it," Park ordered. "And the surgical lasers." "Not powerful enough for weapons," Kim started, then paused. "But if we combine all 6 and route them through the main deflector, could it work?" Park asked. Kim nodded slowly. "It would drain our power, but yes, a short-range cutting beam." "Perfect. Lee, what about our medical gases?" Lee understood immediately. "Oxygen and anesthetic gas storage, under pressure. Could make decent missiles if we ejected the tanks at high velocity." Blue watched in amazement as the humans turned their healing tools into weapons. He made a series of gestures to Dr. Yu's. "Translator, he says no one fights the harvesters," Yu translated. "Everyone runs or surrenders." "Well," Park said firmly, "humans don't surrender easily." 3 hours later, the harvester ships were closing in. The Mercy's engines were at maximum, but it wasn't enough. "They're splitting up," Min reported. "One directly behind, 2 coming around to flank us." Park nodded. "Just as we expected. Engineering, medical weapons ready?" "Ready, Captain," Kim replied from engineering. "But we'll only get 1 shot with each." "Understood. All hands, prepare for defensive maneuvers." The Mercy suddenly cut its engines and went dark, appearing disabled. The harvester ships slowed, cautious of a trap but confident in their superiority. "They're scanning us," Min said. Park waited until the lead harvester ship moved closer, probably preparing to capture the seemingly helpless medical vessel. "Now!" Park ordered. The Mercy's engines burst back to life. The ship spun around, facing the lead harvester. "Medical scanner array, full power," Park commanded. Kim fired the modified scanner. Invisible waves of intense radiation hit the harvester ship. Its systems flickered as delicate electronics were disrupted. "It's working!" Min shouted. "Their weapons are offline." "Surgical laser array, fire!" Park ordered. A bright beam shot from the Mercy's deflector dish, slicing into the confused harvester. Ship's engine section. The black vessel shuddered and began to drift. The other two harvester ships recovered from their surprise and moved to attack. "Oxygen tanks launch," Park commanded. Pressurized tanks shot from the Mercy's airlocks, propelled by emergency thrusters. They slammed into the approaching harvester ships with surprising force, damaging their sensor arrays. "Full power to engines," Park ordered. "Get us out of here." The Mercy shot forward, leaving the damaged harvester vessels behind, but Park knew they wouldn't stay damaged for long. In the cargo bay, Blue and the other refugees watched the battle on emergency screens. Their three eyes were wide with amazement. "What are they saying?" Park asked Dr. Yu when she visited the refugees later. Yu smiled. "They keep repeating one phrase. Our translator can't get it exactly, but it's something like, 'the impossible.' Fighters or the ones who do not fear." Park looked at the alien refugees, crowded together but safe for now. "Tell them we're just getting started." The Mercy shook hard as another blast hit its shields. Alarms blared throughout the ship. Engineer Kim's voice came through the comm system, stressed but controlled. "Captain, we have a problem. Engine 3 just failed," he reported. "We can't outrun them anymore." Captain Park gripped her chair as the ship rocked again. The harvesters had returned with 5 ships this time, bigger and more powerful than before. They had been chasing the Mercy for 12 hours, slowly gaining. "Ground options?" Park asked, looking at her tired bridge crew. Navigator Seo pointed to the map. "There's an asteroid field about 10 minutes from our position, dense enough to hide in but dangerous to navigate." Park nodded. "Set course for the asteroid field. Kim, can you give us one last burst of speed?" "I can redirect power from life." "Support for about 8 minutes," Kim replied. "After that, we'll be running on emergency systems only." "Do it," Park ordered. "All hands, prepare for emergency maneuvers." The Mercy surged forward with its final burst of speed. Behind them, the harvester ships adjusted course to follow. In the medical bay, Dr. Yu was working with Blue and several other aliens to improve their communication. They had created a simple picture-based translation system. Blue drew images on a tablet and Yu responded with words or more pictures. Harvesters? Blue drew a sharp-edged chip, then drew hundreds of planets with X marks through them. "They destroyed all these worlds?" Yu asked, horrified. Blue made a sad sound and drew more. The images showed the harvesters attacking world after world, taking resources, leaving nothing behind. "Why, what do they want?" Yu asked. Blue drew something that looked like energy flowing from planets into harvester ships. "Energy? Resources?" "You guessed." Blue nodded, then drew something new. Smaller ships fleeing from planets with harvesters hunting them down. "They don't allow survivors," Yu realized. "They track down refugees." Blue's 3 eyes blinked slowly in agreement. The ship rocked violently as they entered the asteroid field. Yu grabbed onto a medical bed to stay standing. "Dr. Yu to the bridge immediately," Park's voice came through the comm. When Yu arrived at the bridge with Blue, she found Park and the senior officers gathered around a holographic display of the ship. "We can't run anymore," Park said simply. "So we fight, here, in the asteroids." Officer Min looked worried. "Captain, we're outnumbered and outgunned." "Yes," Park agreed, "but we have 2 advantages. 1, we're smaller and more maneuverable in this asteroid field. 2, we're a medical ship with equipment they won't expect us to use as weapons." Park turned to Dr. Yu. "Doctor, I need everything in your medical bay that could possibly be weaponized." Yu thought for a moment. "We have experimental nanites designed to repair tissue damage. They could potentially disrupt ship systems if reprogrammed." "Good. What else?" "The new bone regenerator uses a focused sonic pulse. At maximum power, it could potentially shatter certain materials." Kim nodded enthusiastically. "Like cockpit viewports or sensor arrays." "And the biological containment fields?" Park asked. "They're designed to isolate dangerous pathogens," Yu said. "If we reverse the polarity, they could potentially be used to push objects away instead of containing them." "Like a repulsor field?" "For asteroids," Lee added. "We could push them toward the harvester ships." Park smiled grimly. "Exactly. Now, let's get to work." The next 2 hours were a flurry of activity as the crew transformed their medical ship into a makeshift battleship. Kim's engineers worked with Yu's medical team to modify equipment never designed for combat. Blue and the other aliens watched, in amazement. Through their basic communication, they made it clear no one had ever stood against the harvesters like this. Everyone ran. Everyone lost. When the sensors detected the harvester ships entering the asteroid field, Park gathered her crew one last time. "Remember your training," she said calmly. "Remember who we are protecting. Today we show the galaxy that humans don't give up easily." The first harvester ship appeared between two giant asteroids. It moved slowly, scanning for the Mercy. "Activate." "Biological repulsor field," Park ordered. The modified containment field pushed against a nearby asteroid, sending it spinning toward the harvester ship. The black vessel barely avoided the collision. "They've spotted us," Min warned. Two more harvester ships appeared, weapons charging. "Release the nanite canisters," Park commanded. Small canisters shot from the Mercy toward the harvester ships. When they exploded, clouds of microscopic robots swarmed into the harvester's external sensors and weapon ports. On the largest harvester ship, sensors began to fail. Weapons misfired. "Sonic pulse ready," Yu reported from her station. "Target." "Their command viewports," Park ordered. The bone regenerator, now a powerful sonic weapon, sent invisible waves toward the lead harvester ship. The reinforced viewport cracked, then shattered. The ship began to drift, its crew exposed to the vacuum of space. The remaining harvester ships regrouped, more cautious now. They had expected easy prey. Instead, they faced a desperate but ingenious enemy using the asteroid field to its advantage. Blue made excited gestures at the view screen. Dr. Yu translated for Captain Park. "He says the harvesters are confused. They don't understand how we're fighting back. No one has ever damaged their ships like this before." Park nodded. "Tell him we're just getting started." As the battle continued in the asteroid field, word spread among the refugee aliens. They gathered near viewports, watching in awe as the small medical ship fought against their most feared enemy. For the first time in their memory, someone was standing against the unstoppable harvesters. And somehow, impossibly, they were winning. The Mercy looked nothing like the clean, efficient medical vessel that had left Earth space 3 months ago. Its hull was scarred from battle. Parts of it were patched with materials never meant for space repair. Several sections had no power at all, but it was still flying. Captain Park stood at the viewport, watching as Earth Space Central Station grew larger. After their stand in the asteroid field, they had managed to escape the damaged harvester ships. The journey home had taken twice as long as planned with their injured engines, but they had made it. "Captain," Officer Min called from her station. "We're being hailed by Central Command." Park straightened her dirty uniform. On screen, Admiral Choi's face appeared. His eyes widened as he saw the condition of the bridge. "Captain Park," he said slowly, "your ship was reported missing in action 3 weeks ago." "We had to take a detour, sir," Park replied with a small smile. "And what exactly is this detour?" The Admiral's voice was stern but curious. Park gestured to Blue, who stood beside her on the bridge. "Sir, I'd like to introduce the first representative of the Nari people to visit Earth." Admiral Choi stared at the blue four-armed alien. "You found aliens." "More accurately, they found us, Admiral. They were running from a hostile species called the Harvesters. We rescued as many as we could." The Admiral's expression changed from shock to concern. "How many?" 427 refugees on board, sir." There was a long pause. Park knew she had broken dozens of regulations. First contact protocols alone required years of careful planning, not a battlefield rescue. "Report to Central Station immediately," Admiral Choi finally said. "And Captain, prepare for a very long debriefing." 6 weeks later, Park sat in a large conference room at United Earth headquarters. The room was filled with military officers, scientists, diplomats, and 6 representatives of the Nari people, including Blue. The Nari had learned English surprisingly quickly. Blue stood before the assembly, speaking slowly but clearly. "For many cycles, the Harvesters have destroyed worlds. No one fought them, no one could. We all ran. We all hid." Blue turned to look at Park. "Until humans." Images appeared on the main screen, recordings from the Mercy's battle in the asteroid field. Earth's leaders watched as the small medical ship fought against vastly superior forces. "The Mercy was not a warship," Blue continued, But humans made it one. With healing tools they fought. With caring hearts, they risked everything for strangers. Park noticed several of the military officers shifting uncomfortably. Breaking protocol to rescue aliens was still a controversial decision. "We have sent messages to other survivors," Blue said. "Other races hiding from harvesters. We told them about humans, about Earth." A side door opened and a strange procession entered. Aliens of different shapes, sizes, and colors, representatives from 7 different species. "They have come," Blue explained, "to meet the first race to defeat harvesters, to form alliance." The room erupted in surprised conversations. Admiral Choi raised his hands for silence. "You're proposing a formal alliance between all your peoples and Earth?" he asked. A tall grey alien with 6 eyes stepped forward. "I am Zil, of the Trell Collective. For 300 years, we have hidden from harvesters, watching our outer colonies destroyed, never fighting back." Zil gestured to the other alien representatives. "We all have similar stories. The harvesters find a world, take what they want, destroy what remains. We believed them unstoppable. Until now," added a small reptilian alien, "until humans showed another way." Dr. Yu stood up from her seat beside Park. The harvesters' advantage was fear. No one fought back because everyone believed it was impossible to win. But humans didn't know that, Park added with a smile. "We never got the message that they couldn't be beaten." Admiral Choi looked thoughtful. "Captain Park, your assessment of these harvesters, are they truly as dangerous as our new friends suggest?" Park nodded seriously. "They're advanced, sir. More advanced than us, but not unbeatable. Their weakness is that they've never faced real resistance. They don't adapt because they've never needed to. And if they come to Earth?" "They will come," Blue said before Park could answer. "Harvesters always follow refugees, always finish what they start." The room grew quiet as the implications sank in. "Then we'd better be ready," Admiral Choi said firmly. "If there's going to be an alliance, Earth will do its part." 3 months later, Captain Park stood on the observation deck of the newly renamed Alliance Central Station. Below her, ships from a dozen different worlds moved in formation, training together. Engineer Kim joined her at the viewport. "The Nari. Engineers showed me how their shield technology works today. If we combine it with our power systems, we could increase efficiency by 300%. Park nodded. "And Dr. Yu is working with the Trell medical team on adapting their healing technology for humans." Kim smiled. "It's amazing how quickly things have changed." "All because you built an impossible docking tube," Park replied with a smile. "No," Kim said seriously. "All because you answered a distress call when protocol said not to." Park watched as a new ship class moved past the viewport, the first vessel built jointly by humans and aliens. It combined the best technologies of 3 different worlds. "The harvesters are still out there," she said quietly. "Still hunting." "Yes," Kim agreed. "But now for the first time they're also being hunted." In the distance, a fleet of new Alliance ships prepared to depart. Their mission, to find other refugee species and bring them into the Alliance, to spread the word that standing together was possible, that fighting back could work, and at the center of it all was humanity, not the most advanced or strongest species, but the one that had shown the galaxy that compassion and courage together were more powerful than fear. One distress, call answered against protocol, had changed everything.